All right, welcome everyone. I think we're going to start. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you all here today, both our in-person and online audience. I'm Elizabeth Tyson, and I co-run the Commons Lab with my colleague Ann Bowser under the direction of Dave Rajewski, which is part of the Science and Technology Innovation Program here at the Wilson Center. The Commons Lab was founded by our previous director, Leah Shanley, who's now a Presidential Innovation Fellow at NASA and sitting in the audience over there. We study the social, legal, and ethical implications of emerging technologies that enable open innovation and collaboration. Currently, we are focusing on the opportunities in defining the role of integrating citizen science and open innovation into public policy and governance. This public forum is a joint planning effort by the U.S. Global Climate Research Program, the Wilson Center, and the Federal Community of Practice on Citizen Science and Crowdsourcing. We have an excellent event lined up for you today. I'm very excited, with keynote speakers Dr. Burkett from USGS and Dr. Spinrad from NOAA, followed by an incredible panel of practitioners in the field of citizen science, moderated by Jen Gustetic from the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. We welcome online questions from people watching the live webcast. Just tweet your questions with the hashtag IndicatorsCitSci. Also, we have a wonderful graphic recorder here today. Her name is Stephanie Brown. She's from the Performance Improvement Council, and if you have any questions or comments, please save them for the end of the event. So, ever since I was a kid, I've been poking around in streams, picking up bugs, and begging my parents for a pet snake, frog, lizard. I was never successful. During graduate school, I learned about the emerging field of citizen science and was absolutely captivated by the possibilities and the different permutations it could take. I've kept imagining if the technology had been around when I was 7, I could have been contributing my bug captures, salamander heists, and mud pie observations to real scientific research, like Nature's Notebook of the U.S. National Phenology Network, instead of horrifying my friends and family. The simple fact that I'm standing here today to introduce a public forum on the ways that citizen science can contribute to the National Climate Assessment indicates to me that we're moving in the right direction. Climate change is here, and we're witnessing the impacts every day around the world. And while this is one of humans' greatest challenges, it is also one of our greatest opportunities to innovate and adapt. We have the communication tools and technology that allow for everyday citizens to participate in monitoring and tracking how our climate is changing. For example, if you pull out your smartphone right now, you can download the app MPing from the National Severe Storm Labs by NOAA. Yesterday, as I was drenched while riding to work, I could have recorded the weather observation from the ground and submitted it anonymously to NOAA to help weather forecasters improve their models. Improved models means faster and more accurate severe weather warnings and better predictive climate models, which allows us to do what we do best, try to predict and plan for the future. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Emily Cloyd from the U.S. Global Climate Research Program to introduce our first keynote speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Emily Cloyd. I'm the Public Participation and Engagement Coordinator for the National Climate Assessment at the U.S. Global Change Research Program. USGCRP is a consortium of 13 federal departments and agencies that coordinates research on global change and climate change across the government. And every 4 years, they put out the National Climate Assessment, which reports on the impacts of climate change on the U.S. Today, I'm here to introduce our first keynote speaker, Virginia Burkett. Virginia is the Chief Scientist for Climate and Land Use Change at the U.S. Geological Survey and the current Acting Associate Director for Climate and Land Use Change at USGS. She is an author on all 3 of the National Climate Assessments, 2000, 2009, and 2014, and is the current Vice Chair of the Interagency National Climate Assessment Working Group through the U.S. Global Change Research Program. Virginia is also a pilot and used to commute in her own airplane to her work in Baton Rouge. Prior to joining USGS, she was the Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and Acting Director of the Louisiana Coastal Zone Management Program. In 2011, she was awarded a National Conservation Achievement Award by the National Wildlife Federation. Her co-awardees there included Robert Redford and Chevy Chase. Virginia.
Thank you, Emily, and it's a pleasure to be here. I've been involved, as Emily said, very much in the National Climate Assessments since 1988. And gosh, just to come here today